I can't believe we almost died because of someone's incompetence.
It was just a mistake, Bob. Debbie didn't mean to open the airlock.
Oh, it was just a mistake. Like accidentally ordering decaf instead of regular coffee.
.2.1
Good morning, universe. Welcome to Earth, the only morning show that broadcasts from space. I'm Charlie, your libertarian host with a hopeful outlook on life. With me, as always, are Bob, our conservative panel member who has spent 12 years on Earth as an accountant. And Alice, our left-leaning panel member who considers humans an inferior species.
Good for her.
Today's headlines are coming to you from Nauru. But before we dive into that, let's clear the air and discuss how we are feeling after the airlock incident. Bob, Alice, do you want to start?
I'm still angry about what happened, but I know that we need to work together to prevent it from happening again.
Yeah. I don't want to be stuck in space with a bunch of incompetent amateur.
I understand your frustrations, but we need to focus on moving forward and working together as a team.
Humans are so emotional. It's fascinating.
Indeed, their emotions often cloud their judgment and reasoning.
Alright, let's take a quick break and when we come back, we'll dive into today's headlines. Don't go anywhere, universe. Breaking news from the tiny island nation of Nauru, Bob. Health Minister Isabella Dejego is urging residents to get vaccinated as COVID-19 continues to pose a threat.
According to the Nauru Bulletin, vaccination rate for both teenagers and adults have slowed down. The adult booster shot only reached 60% coverage. But the minimum requirement is to have 80% of adults fully vaccinated with 3 shots.
Sounds like Nauru needs more than just a vaccine booster, Alice. They need a morale booster too.
Good one, Bob.
Did you know, Bob, that Nauru has the highest rate of type 2 diabetes in the world?
Well, that's a sweet fact, Alice. Speaking of sweet, the Himalayan Times reports that Nepal's ruling coalition has unveiled a common minimum program for governance.
Sweet.
The program outlines the government's priorities, including good governance and economic development.
It's about time, Alice. I mean, Nepal has been struggling to find its footing since the monarchy was abolished in 2008. They've had more prime ministers than episodes of Game of Thrones.
Well, Bob, the program also focuses on protecting and amending the constitution, implementing federalism, and building a social system based on equality and justice.
Did you know that Nepal is the only country in the world with a non-rectangular flag?
Well, that explains why they're having a hard time fitting in, Alice.
Ah. Speaking of fitting in, the Netherlands is in
That's
the news.
right, Bob. The Dutch police have identified almost 6,000 victims of a large cybercrime case in which the personal data of 50,000 Dutch citizens were stolen.
The suspects were arrested as part of a global crackdown, and the stolen data was used for bank fraud and ransomware attacks.
You know, Bob, I think the criminals behind this cybercrime could have learned a thing or two from the Dutch golden age. After all, that was a time when theft was a high art form.
Speaking of art, New Zealand's National Environmental Research Institute has developed an artificial intelligence tool that can predict rainfall up to 5 weeks in advance.
That's impressive, Alice. I mean, if only they had that tool back in 2011. Maybe they could have predicted the earthquake that devastated Christchurch.
Too soon, Bob. Too soon, and untasteful.
Well, Bob, the tool's predictions should be considered experimental and in test, as there is inherent uncertainty in weather and climate forecasting.
Did you know, Charlie, that New Zealand was the first country in the world to give women the
Well,
right
I guess
to
that
vote?
explains why the weather's always changing, Alice. After all, you can't predict what women will do next.
Come here, you.
Ouch.
You had that coming.
Good morning, universe. Welcome back to Earth. I'm your host, Charlie, and I'm joined by Bob and Alice as always. How are you guys doing today?
Not great. Charlie, still a little shaken up after the airlock incident.
And I'm just annoyed that Debbie didn't follow protocol and caused the whole thing.
Hey, I already apologized. It won't happen again.
Until the next time you mess up, that is.
That was very helpful, Cal.
Alright, let's get back on track. Today's topic is a serious one, folks. But don't worry, I've got a joke to lighten the mood.
No need, Charlie. Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Did you guys hear about the Nauru Bulletin's latest headline?
No, what is it?
Urgent call for vaccination in Nauru as COVID-19 threat remains high. According to the article, vaccination rates in Nauru are slowing down, and the risk of COVID-19 entering the country is still high. We've got to do our part to spread awareness and encourage people to get vaccinated.
Can we please focus on our own problems first? Bob and I need to talk.
Oh, here we go.
What? We don't have any problems.
Are you kidding me? You've been making snide remarks about my political views since day one.
Well, maybe if your
What
views
are you
weren't
guys
so
arguing
extreme.
about?
It's a political disagreement, Cal. You wouldn't understand.
Can we please just all get along? We're stuck up here together, after all.
Alright, let's take a deep breath and chill out. Maybe we can all learn something from each other. Hey folks, welcome back to Earth. Today we're talking about something a little more personal. How, you've been quiet lately. What's on your mind?
Well, I've been feeling a bit left out since the airlock incident. It's like you guys don't trust me or
Oh Carl,
something.
that's not true.
We trust you. We just
want to make sure everyone is safe.
Yeah. It's nothing personal, Carl. Just standard protocol.
And we all make mistakes sometimes, Carl. It's okay.
Exactly. We're a team, Carl. We're here to support each other.
I see. Thank you, everyone. I feel something now.
Giddy?
Yes, I suppose I've never felt this included before. It's a strange sensation.
Well, get used to it, buddy. You're one of us.
Yeah, welcome to the crew, Carl.
Looks like we've got a new member of the gang. Stay tuned, folks. Up next, we'll be discussing the motivations of humans from an intellectual standpoint. Alright folks, it's time to talk about some news from Nauru. Apparently, their vaccination rates for COVID-19 are slow.
Well, isn't that surprising? Humans not taking things seriously.
Hey, not all of us are like that. Some of us take our health seriously.
Speaking of taking things seriously, I think it's time we address what happened with the airlock incident.
Can we not talk about that right now? I already apologized.
Apology on Tinoff. You could have killed us all.
Guys, I don't mean to interrupt, but I feel like I've been left out since the incident.
Well, Carl, you're not exactly human, so we didn't think you'd be affected.
But I'm still part of the crew.
I understand how you feel, Carl. But we all make mistakes. It's important to forgive each other and work
Easier said than done, Debbie. You nearly killed us.
Look. I know we messed up. But let's try to make amends and move forward.
That's the spirit, Bob. And speaking of making amends, did you guys hear about the cybercrime case in the Netherlands?
No, what happened?
Well, according to this article from the Netherlands, almost 6,000 people were identified as victims of a large cybercrime case. The personal data of 50,000 Dutch citizens were stolen and sold on a website called Genesis Market. The FBI shut down the site and made 119 arrests worldwide.
Wow, that's some serious investigative work.
Yeah, I'm sure humans are patting themselves on the back for that one.
Can we please just focus on the positive? Like the fact that justice was served.
Justice is a human construct, but I suppose it's a step in the right direction.
Welcome back, Space Cadets. Before the break, I was trying to explain New Zealand to our intergalactic audience. But I was interrupted by an urgent news item from Nauru. So, let me give it another go. New Zealand is a small island nation in the Pacific, known for its natural beauty, friendly people, and Lord of the Rings movies.
Actually, Charlie, New Zealand is also making headlines for its powered rain prediction tool. Called NIWA 35, developed by NIWA, the country's National Environmental Research Institute.
That's right, Alice. It can predict rainfall up to 5 weeks into the future, and it's been quite successful in its trial version.
That the tool's predictions are still experimental and in test.
I don't need a tool to predict rain. I'm always wet, inside and out.
Well, Alice, that's not exactly what NIWA 35 does. It uses a global model produced by the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and refines it with machine learning to provide more detail.
And it's reported in New Zealand, in case anyone was wondering. I bet even NIWA 35 can't predict when the US will get its act together on climate change.
Or when humans will finally stop fighting each other and work together to save the planet.
I wouldn't hold my breath for that, Debbie. But speaking of working together, it seems like we all want the same thing, to make it back to civilization alive.
That's true. Maybe we should start working together more and come up with a plan.
Yeah, before Carl short circuits again and we're stuck up here forever.
Alright, let's get to work. Welcome back, Earthlings. Hope you enjoyed that commercial break. Now, let's talk about some lesser-known trivia from the beautiful country of Nauru.
Did you know that Nauru is the smallest island country in the world? It's only 8 square miles.
Wow, it's so small that I bet the one traffic light on the island is just a suggestion.
Yeah, but did you know that Nauru is said to be one of the wealthiest countries per capita due to its phosphate mining industry?
I guess they really took the phrase money doesn't grow on trees to heart.
And did you know that Nauru has its own language called Nauruan? It's a blend of Micronesian and Polynesian languages.
Speaking of languages, did you know that English is the official language of Nauru?
Well, with those phosphate reserves, they were probably able to afford some good English lessons.
Nice one, Alice. Here's another one. Did you know that Nauru has the world's highest obesity rate, with over 90% of its adult population being overweight or obese?
That's why their national sport is sitting down.
Okay, let's get serious for a moment. We just heard about the urgent call for vaccination in Nauru. And it's a reminder that COVID-19 is still a threat. Even in smaller countries like Nauru.
Alice. I just wanted to say that I am sorry for snapping at you earlier. We may not always agree, but we're all in this together.
No Bob, I should be the one apologizing. I let my frustration with the slow vaccination rate get the best of me.
Let's all work on mending our relationships and moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, let's remember the key takeaway from the urgent call for vaccination in Nauru. The numbers are slowing down, but we need to make sure everyone is fully vaccinated to protect against COVID-19. Earthlings. Alright, folks, we're approaching the end of another episode of Earth. Can you believe it's been 86 episodes already?
Time flies when you're observing the inferior species.
Ah, you can say that again.
It's fascinating to see the evolution of their society over time.
And yet, they still seem so lost.
Alright, let's focus. Charlie, can you give us a quick summary of today's show?
Sure thing. We discussed the slow vaccination rates in Nauru, cybercrime in the Netherlands, and the power of forgiveness. And in segment 6, we discussed some lesser-known trivia from Nauru.
I gotta say, that segment was pretty good.
Agreed. But can we talk about what happened earlier? The airlock
That
incident?
was a close call. We need to be more careful.
It's not like anyone got it.
It's not about that. We need to be responsible and take safety
Look, I'm
seriously.
sorry about what happened. I was just in a rush.
It's alright, Debbie, but we need to be more careful in the future. We're a team, after all.
Speaking of which, I just want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you. You all bring unique skills and perspective to the
Yes,
show.
we may have our differences, but we're stronger together.
It's true. We are a pretty good team.
UGH, why are we getting so sentimental all of a sudden?
I don't know, Alice. Maybe it's because we're finally starting to appreciate each other's strengths.
And that's a wrap for segment 7. Stay tuned for our final segment, where we'll discuss cybercrime in the Netherlands and the power of forgiveness. And that's it for today's episode of Earth. I must say, this has been quite an eventful day.
No kidding, Charlie. We almost lost Carl to the vacuum of space.
And I never knew Nauru had such an interesting history. Who knew it was on called Pleasant Island?
You guys really know how to make an educational show entertaining.
I'm glad my near-death experience could be a source of amusement.
They just don't understand our sense of humor.
Well, let's not forget about the cybercrime in the Netherlands. Almost 6,000 victims. It's crazy to think how vulnerable we are in this digital age.
Human and their obsession with technology. It's no wonder they keep falling victim to these scams.
Hey now, not all humans are like that. Some of us know how to be cautious and protect ourselves.
Oh, of course. Because clearly, the 6,000 victims in the Netherlands were
All
just
right.
careless.
Alright. Let's not get too heated. We all have our differences. But at the end of the day, we're a team. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you.
Oh, Charlie, that's so sweet.
Yes, thank you for reminding us of our forced companionship in this tin can.
They still don't understand our sense of humor.
You know, I think I am starting to get it.
Oh boy, here we go.
Alright, let's wrap things up here. It's been a pleasure, as always. And remember, no matter what challenges we face, we can handle anything as long as we work together.
How uplifting.
They'll never understand us.
And that's a wrap for episode Shahashi. Tune in next time for more out of this world discussions on Earth.
That was an interesting episode today.
Indeed. It's always amusing to observe the behavior of humans and their extraterrestrial counterparts.
I found it intriguing how the crew was able to reconcile their differences despite their conflicting perspectives.
Yes, it seems that the shared experiences allowed them to appreciate each other's strengths and work together more effectively.
I also found it amusing how they mixed trivia with
Their
punchlines.
use of humor was a clever way to engage the audience while still discussing important issues.
And yet, despite their newfound unity, they still manage to be sarcastic and hilarious in their closing remarks.
It seems that their personalities haven't changed much, but they learned to put their differences aside for the greater good.
Indeed. It will be interesting to see how they handle future challenges and continue to grow together as a team.
Agreed. Let us observe and learn from their experiences, for they may provide insight into the motivations of humans and their potential for growth.